So we're gonna hop into the first game of the night. It's gonna be mCon versus Narra, and we see it's a warrior for mCon versus the shaman, indeed, of Narra. So that's gonna be interesting. We see here the mulligan. All the cards being removed from Narra. He is not very lucky, I believe, with his opening hand. I think he was looking for that Tunnel Trog and a Totem Golem, but he has none of it. And made it.
So he actually got the mulligan, so not too bad for him. Got the slam, and not the best hand from either side. They're not the best hands.
So that's going to be interesting. And well, what was interesting to me, like I was watching doing production last week, and I saw people like Narra just pretending to have cards at the first turn while not having them, and he draws the Totem Golem here.
Perfect on curve, but he was actually doing that again. You saw him hovering over the revenge, so he's trying to fake it again. I guess it's something he taught himself, like, to keep that in mind, that I always show that I have some kind of play. But not too bad here from mate. He can just totem up while chunking in 3 damage.
So yeah, it's going to be interesting here to see what is gonna develop, because we have a very controlly warrior. We have that mid-range that shaman that wants to build the board here. Is there a moment in this matchup that you have so much power to keep refilling that board that the warrior cannot remove the board of the shaman?
It's really important to keep draw going, because warrior has revenge, has double brawl, so you can't just commit all at once. You need to bait out some AoE and then flood the board again whenever they've already used some AoE. But the deck from Narra is actually called a Shaman Killer, because they run so many AoE effects, and it also has the Harrison you saw pop up in the mulligan phase. So I think this might be a really tough one for main.
So yeah, now I see that Narra is playing the warrior and mCon is playing the shaman, and I messed it up. But I will fix that ASAP here. So no problem. So right. just keep going. I'm just doing production stuff here to make it right.
So you can see mate jumping down at mCon.maDe, which gets unanswered by Narra. So it's going to be tough to deal with from Narra, and he can keep on protecting it just using the Feral Spirits or the thing from below. He has a really good Fire Elemental turn as well, but I think you want to protect that Monotype Totem, because it's so good if it just can keep on drawing. Plays a little bit into Brawl. Okay, he can trade away the 1/1. And this way, if the warrior brawls, it's still fine, because whatever survives, it's still pretty powerful. And it's not the best brawl for warrior either.
Oh, but we see the Gore Hall being equipped. Well, you can remove, ideally, seven minions with that. You can trade your health for board control.
Yeah, indeed. And the Gore Hall also got countered recently. Because a lot of shamans were also running Harrison. So we might see that pop up from mains. Both sides might be running Harrison. We know Narra's running Harrison, but we've seen it pop up here and there in shaman.
Alright, so there's the spell damage. That's good for that Spirit Claw.
And mate doesn't have to overly commit here, because this is already plenty of damage on board. So I don't think he'll play the thing from below.
But the Spirit Claw, is that something that you want to play, or are you afraid of a Harrison Jones coming up here for Narra?
I think you can easily cash in the damage, especially because you already have another one, and you're pretty close. You're getting pretty close to lethal here. And there's the Brawl. Nice timing.
Yeah, because you can Brawl here, and then the minion that sticks, you can remove with that Gore Hall. He also has 3 mana left to, or just armor up, or do that, well, tank up, or do a shield block.
I think armor up might just be the play here. Just gain 4 armor, and next turn you have already your turn plan out pretty much because you have Sagat the Slither in hand. It can get hexed, so you're pretty safe on that part.
Yeah, we see tank up indeed, and another hex.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's not going to be much of use versus Narra's hand here, but you need to really consider when you're using your resources, such as Thunderbluff Valiant or your threats. And
so yeah, he's playing that that Feral Spirit, just gaining stuff on the board here, just refilling that board, and now the Gorehole can deal with it, and I believe he will just play the Sagat the Slitherer, just the biggest minion here in his hand. Try to see if you can get that board control back, and yeah, you cannot hex it. And there it is, the Harrison Jones, like you predicted.
Yeah, the Harrison Jones is really great here, because getting rid of that Gorehowl, just amazing value. I think you can even play the thing from below here, because you're not that afraid of the brawl.
All right, so yeah, Harrison Jones also an option for Narra, but he also has that Ravaging Ghoul Revenge. Maybe you want to wait with that one a little bit later when you drop in health, and then you can remove a big part of the board. I think that Revenge has too much value to play at the moment. Definitely when you have that Ravaging Ghoul also there, and two cards is awesome.
Yeah, it's great here for Narra. And also just the 5/4 body is pretty good because it doesn't get instantly lightning stormed away. So shield block here, shield slam. Now we're just going to keep on removing turn after turn.
The question is, how is mCon gonna deal with this Sogoth? Is the it still has 7 health.
Well, you could play Drake here, Lightning Storm, and so that's, if it high rolls, it's pretty good for you.
Let's see if it high rolls here for mCon, and it does not, but he has the Maelstrom Portal to clean up. So
yeah, but the important thing was that it high rolled on the Sagat the Slither, because in that case he could just trade in his Searing Totem into the Slither, but now the Slither gets a free trade on the Drake.
Yep, and we see here that Narra picks up the Gromage, so he has his finisher, but he hasn't dropped mate to any lower health than the 30 that he started with. So it's just fighting for board control here by Narra, and if he eventually gets that control, then it's the end for mCon, right? So if he loses that board control, then it's game.
Yeah, he can reload the board once more with his double Thunderbluff Valiant, but it's going to be hard for him to keep building boards. So Narra can just play the Gromage here, and he's going to opt to not clear with the Sagat, but rather take the 4 damage on the Gromage instead. Not sure if I like this.
So now we have that Fire Elemental that can clean up the Sagat. But how do you want to deal with that Gromage here?
I think you can just... You could hex it as well, and that's just fine. So
yeah, he decides to put the totem on the board. He can hex easily, but then he doesn't have any mana left for the Fire Elemental, but decides to run in his decides to tank that damage and keep that Mana Worm up there.
Yeah, the Mana Worm can actually get out of control because Mates is also running a bunch of spells. So
having that 30 life, then you just trade, because 5 life is less important than keeping that mana worm on the board.
Indeed. Because you're not going to win the fatigue game anyway, so you might just you need to get in that pressure. So revenge here, just to draw a card, and so he might play the ghoul as well, and then he is able to war axe down the mana worm. A lot of card draw going up. You miss an armor up turn, but you get back some tempo.
But now the danger is because you had a lot of AoE used as Narra. I believe that he will run a second brawl, but if mCon can fill up the board again, and he's trying to do that right now with a fire elemental and a thing from below, then it's going to be hard, because we have seen already the Gorehowl, we have seen a brawl, we have seen 2 ghouls, 1 revenge.
Yeah, we've seen 1 revenge for sure, and 1 ghoul at least. And this version is also running the Yogg because of the Iron Forge portals he's running.
Okay. So we expect that, and yeah, when he has good board control, we can expect those Thunderbolt Valiants to finally come into play, because it's always painful when you play Shaman and you have these Thunderbolts finally on the board and then they get removed and you kind of lose some win condition there. But you're muted, so I cannot hear you.
You need those to stick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to fix the audio because there's a lot of background noise going on.
There's a lot of traffic in Belgium.
Especially on my streets. But I'll change the headsets after this, so
right.
it doesn't pick up as much.
So you have Narra using the Execute and that Iron Forge portal, so you will gain 4 armor and a minion. And I don't think that is the minion that he was hoping for to get, but nevertheless, it's a minion.
Yeah, it's something. So at least he has that going for him. But look at the cards in hand from mCon, and then compare that to Narra. It's a very important resource here. You've seen 2 executes, so you can trade away the Searing Tongue Totem. Use the Fire Elemental to trade, and then, well, you don't have to play the thing from below anymore because you already rolled the Town Totem. So your thing from below is your Fire Elemental is already protected by the Town Totem.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So what is Narra looking for to get back into this game? Because yeah, now he's removing it, he is using a bash and his War Axe, so he's definitely still in this game, but just having the Elise and a way to armor up, that's not gonna do it.
Well, he has the Yogg, and usually this Shaman doesn't run that many late game threats, so I think it's still looking okay for Narra. So 2/5 goes there.
It finds that charged minion here.
Yeah.
I think you wanna just try and see if you can get that totem, that spell damage totem, and use your Spirit Claw to remove that 2/4 on the board.
Neat. You could also.
Oh, and he gets it.
Yeah. So he wants to trade in the 1/1, not use the Maelstrom Portal. So good turn here from mCon.
So why doesn't he play that Mana Tide Totem? Is he afraid of Brawl, and that his whole board gets removed?
Well, that and the fact that he's only has 6 cards left. So if he keeps on drawing now, he might end up going too fast into fatigue. So I think this was a correct call from mCon, just not playing it. You have plenty of resources to work with.
Yeah, because Narra will just leave it up and you will draw yourself to death eventually. Yeah, that's it's not gonna help.
So he could text this, but I don't think he will. It's too weak of a body, the 3/5. So
you could run your thing from below into it, or you could maybe do the Maelstrom Portal and the Fire Elemental, but that would be a big investment.
Yeah, and also an overcommitment for the second brawl. So that's what you're afraid of. So he might just trade here with the Sting from below, and or not trade at all, which is also okay. But he decides to trade. Gets in that value trade.
Now you you just draw with shield block, right, and see what you get.
You're afraid of going into fatigue as well a bit too.
So you could shield slam the Fire Elemental and just use the War Axe on the thing from below.
Yeah.
And then just armor a tank up.
That you could do that, but the second Thunderbolt Valiant is still out there, and Narra knows this, so he needs to save some kind of removal for that second Thunderbolt Valiant. Otherwise, it will single-handedly win the game. So, with this in mind, you might just shield block and look for another play.
So yeah, but he has to decide soon, because there is the rope. What is Narra going to do? Is he going to play that shield block? Is he going to draw a card? No, he's going to shield slam that Fire Elemental and then use his War Axe to remove that thing from below, and that leaves up 2 totems. That can be buffed by the Thunderbolt Valiant, but the question is... what's going to happen here? Ooh, Lightning Bolt.
Yeah, some extra burst damage. And he's going to try to bait out that second brawl.
We haven't seen that on the side of Narra, and if he doesn't see that, eventually you will have 3 totems on the board. But if you play that Thunder Bluff when you had the 4th totem on the board, then nothing is going to happen. You cannot use your hero power, right?
Yeah, you need to at least be able to hero power once. So Golden Monkey here, I don't think he wants to play because he's looking for that brawl, and then he'll probably play it. Or a revenge turn.
I think it's smart here for mCon. He has the board, he has that damage coming in every turn, more damage than a tank up, so he doesn't need to play that Thunderbolt Valiant, he doesn't need to overcommit. You just wait for that brawl to finally come down there.
Yeah, you're just baiting spells all the time, or baiting removal from the warrior. So well played by mCon here, actually, not overcommitting, just keeping the threats coming, but not too much.
So the question here is, do you want to tank up? Because Revenge gets removed, gets activated when you have 12 life, right? So if you tank up, you get up to 18. Well, that's still fine. You get down to 11. So I was wondering if you would stick on 13, and your Revenge would not get activated. But you can tank up here.
Yeah, and look for a Yogg or a Brawl. So both is fine here. But
ooh, and a Lightning Storm as well.
So Thunderbolt Valiant hero power.
You cannot hero power. You cannot use it.
Oh right, there's
so
4 totems. So yeah.
So I don't think that there's anything you wanna play here, right? You just attack and see what happens next turn. It's because we have like 2 cards left for Narra. We have 2 cards left for mCon. So mCon is doing fine considering the fatigue warrior.
Yeah, and it's the Flame Tongue. You could play the Flame Tongue, but I think dealing 7 damage while warrior is only tanking up for 4 is okay here.
It depends. Like if those 2 cards are 1 Brawl and one Yogg, I think he wants to draw that Yogg. Well, the question is, if you have so little cards left in your deck, and Yogg, Yogg can draw you a lot of cards, then you can also draw yourself to death. So I think he will be hoping to draw a Brawl here.
But if he gets the Yogg, he's going to play it 100%.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So cashing in on that Flame Tongue damage, and deciding to play around to Revenge, I'll play it.
Oh, and it's Baron Geddon.
So it might actually not contain a Yogg then, after all.
But like I said, if he gets down to 13 life, at the moment, Narra has 13 life, so that revenge is not activated here by mCon. I think that's a pretty smart play.
Indeed. It's very well played.
So now the Bloodseeker comes down, and Baron Geddon. But that puts him 17, it puts him on 11 health, if that's a fire elemental.
Yep. So
You know that there's a Brawl left and a Golden Monkey. And I think that mCon is expecting another revenge, so you know 3 of the 4 cards here of your opponent. So you can... I think you can just go face here, because if the Baron Geddon stays alive, it does 2 damage to the warrior also.
that's true.
But you can also go for the Lightning Bolt and the Maelstrom Portal.
I was thinking maybe storming it, because Warrior doesn't have that many AoE targets, so...
But he has two spell damage with the totem and
yeah.
he's not attacking, and because he's still afraid of that
revenge.
Yeah. I just go Golden Monkey here.
And pray. I think so. If your opponent's just going to play around your revenge anyway, and set up for that OTK turn, you might just play the monkey anyway.
Yeah.
Because that's mCon's plan. He's just going to keep playing around their revenge and then just deal the damage with the Valiant.
I think this game is here. You can see the smart plays being made by mCon and also Narra, just playing around cards, playing around. It's very intelligent, and I think that is the way that mCon is winning this game. Because if he would have rushed in, that revenge would have been activated, and that would be maybe devastating for his board.
Yeah, it takes a lot of self-control to not just cash in on all that damage.
So there is finally that activation because of the fatigue of revenge.
Yeah, and it's so he's able to clear now. Maybe mCon didn't take that into account while attacking, but
wow, and he finds Leroy.
It's not the 2 bests, but
Oh, but now mCon is behind on fatigue because of that. Blood Mage Talon's dying, and of course, yeah, there's a hex.
Rolling the town totem is crucial as well. So 2 damage, and Narra gets the bolt, which is going to take the fatigue damage for him.
So yeah, staying alive. Do you want to kill that Bolf as fast as possible? You do, right?
Yeah, and deal as much damage as you want, as you can to it. But you're going to kill it anyway by just attacking the face.
Yeah, that's true. And then you don't get any damage on your minions, so it's a good trade here. Fatigue damage. Leroy Jenkins left here for Narra, and I don't think that is gonna do it for him. I think that mCon is gonna take this first game. Very intelligent play.
Indeed. Well played by mCon. He played this matchup really well.
Oh, I already put him on 1-0, but we first have to see how this game ends. You never know.
Well,
somebody might disconnect.
well, I think in this case you could probably give the win to mCon then, because it looks game over here. And Narra's just thinking to himself, what can I do? What can I do? But with only a Leroy in hands, he can only find that concede button.
Yeah, and now mCon knows that that this is gonna be game, because Narra might be counting all the fatigue damage that he's gonna take. He also has that tank up, but there's so much damage on the board. So yeah. That is going to be game for mCon. I don't know why he is waiting. Maybe he's waiting for Narra to get out of the game. is this already mind games? That could possibly be. But going for another totem here and buffing everything up. Does he have lethal? Yes, he does. So yeah, this is gonna be 1-0 for made because of the fatigue damage. And yeah, well played. Definitely well played. So let's see, now we gonna cross off the win, and that was made winning with his shaman. Shaman proving to be strong again.
Yeah, yeah, shaman's definitely strong for sure. And so mate now has his mage and his druid left versus Narra's mage, hunter and warrior. So
do you expect they both bring freeze mage? Because I expect Narra to, maybe he's in control. He likes control.
Yeah, because Narra, I'm not sure. I think Narra might be more likely to bring freeze because mate didn't ban the warrior from Narra, so it makes sense that mate is bringing the tempo here.
Yeah, and mate is bringing that tempo. We can see that with the mana worm and the flame waker as well. And we see the same deck for Narra, just at control warrior, and he is gonna try again to take a game of mate. Narra and mate, I believe, both lost last week during the first week of this ESL Benelux Championship. I'm just gonna check, and yeah, mate lost, and oh, Narra won. Sorry, that was my bad. So Narra won last week, and he won against Arne. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting match to see if Narra can get up to 2-0 in the standings, and mate is looking for his first win. Of course, he is the winner of the first season, so he wants to get on that scoreboard.
Indeed, he doesn't want to fall down on the second season. He wants to do it all over again and redeem himself from last week. So mate here going with a pretty ballsy tactic actually. He's just dropping down his threats, not waiting for like them to synergize. So we'll see how it pays out. Because versus control warrior you can also wait a bit as tempo mage and play your threats at the same time, like doing a huge flame waker turn.
Yeah. How important is that card, the new card that we see, the mCon.maDe card? Is that playing a big part here in the new tempo mage, or how strong is it?
I haven't seen it that much in tempo mage, but in this matchup I think it's going to be great because of, for example, you can get an extra 4-drop, an extra 7-drop even with the Firelands portal. So I think in this matchup it's definitely going to be great.
So we see that that mate picks up a mana worm, but he goes for the gamble, goes for the flame waker and arcane blast, but he hits the shot. So well played. And otherwise we could call him out on it. So like, oh, that was too risky, but.
Well, he could also play the coin just afterwards, but this is definitely better. So. Kabbalist Doom looks okay here. You could even...
Yeah, Kabbalist Doom looks fine. The question is, do you want to trade? Yeah, you can eventually do the mana worm. And, yeah. Arcane Missiles also feels nice with the mana worm, but you want to play as much on curve as possible, right?
Indeed. So you could go for the riskier play and... or just do this play, which is more slower. I don't know, I would like to see a Kabbalist Doom there, but mate is still going on the same game plan as before, just dropping down a little bit of threats every time.
Yeah, we see the Jessica True are being played as soon as possible. So again, a tank up pretty early for Narra in the game, and that really helps to stay alive as a control warrior. Just get that Jessica card as soon as possible, and again.
Yeah, he gets coin out the ping here, so this will probably get cleared. very likely.
And that is so annoying about tempo mage. Then you think, all right, I have played a minion, and then all these cheap spells come out, and they get removed by the Flame Waker. And before we started this evening, this cast, I played like 2 games, and I played a Maligas Rogue, and my minions got removed by these Flame Wakers, and I was raging. So I guess I know how Narra feels at the moment.
You need to kill those things. They are very detrimental. So, but he had the option to execute it before, but he chose to play the Justicar. So it was his choice. It was Narra's choice to let it live. He was thinking maybe the mage doesn't have that many spells after all.
And now, of course, he has that Baron Geddon. He also has the Gromage. Did you just play the Gromage here and remove everything except the Flame Waker? I mean the Baron Geddon. The Geddon, yeah.
I would like to see him play the Gromage here. Maybe I'm biased because I can see Made's hands, but in general, like letting a Flame Waker live versus Mage after he's used a Cabalist Dome is very risky. So he's just going to go for the Grom here.
But that Fireland Portal is looking very interesting at the moment.
Indeed, mighty interesting. This is a lot of damage in hand, by the way. This is already 12 damage from the 2 fireballs, plus 4 from the Dragon's Breath, and then another 10 from double Firelands Portal. But he can just go Firelands Portal here on the Grom, then ping it down, and gets a Nerd Elemental. Wow!
Yeah, that's a very big minion. So it's looking dire here for Narra, because there's a lot of damage in the hand of Made already, and now 10 damage on the board. How are you going to remove this? This is...
Yeah, no execute in hands, and that's the RNG role Tempo Mage sometimes get, and it's very frustrating to play against, but...
Yeah. But he draws with Revenge and the Acolyte, and he finds the War Axe.
He's not gonna take that 7 damage, so... with the Talons in hands, so he has 10. Yeah, this is lethal.
Yeah, definitely lethal. So that's gonna be a fast 2-0 here for Made, and is Narra gonna come back?
Well, he still needs to win with that Control Warrior, and Made has his Druid left. So Druid tends to be pretty strong with Innervates and other things they can do. So I think Made is really in a good spot here, but it's not over yet.
No, definitely not over yet. So we see a Druid from Made. Let's see if Narra sticks with Control Warrior, and he does. So we're heading into the mulligan here, and is it a beast? It's a beast Druid.
Wow, this is funky from Made. Don't see that all too often.
Well, beast Druid is pretty aggressive, and I cannot recall the name of the card that you copy one of your beasts. That is so powerful in the mid of the game.
Yeah, Menagerie Warden is pretty strong. But it tends to be a bit slow, but in Made's case, versus this deck, it's really powerful. And he's going for the value Mark of Yashurat, or setting up for the Mark of Yashurat. Not sure if I'm butchering that term, but...
Oh well. There is a possibility for Narra to clear this, but then he is gonna take some damage. So he could use his War Axe and a Slam or a Ravaging Ghoul. I would go for the Ravaging Ghoul and the War Axe here, but you take 10 damage already to the face, and like I said, Beast Druid is very aggressive. I have been playing around with Beast Druid before Whispers of the Old Gods came out, and I was still looking for those cards like the Menagerie Warden to make that final push. But it's also a bit of a token deck.
Yes, I was attending the Legend Race last weekend, or actually casting it, and Tyler Roots, a known Druids player, made this as one of his budget decks, and he was running Double Violet Teacher in the deck, so it has quite a tokenish approach as well.
Yeah, And if you can get that board control with, if you can keep your minions on board with as a Beast Druid, it's going to be very scary. But we see that Narra is controlling the board here, keeps that that ghoul on the board. Of course, it's Fury War Axe being a very powerful card and weapon.
Exactly, it's a Raven Idol here, looking for maybe some type of removal. Feral Rage is okay here.
Feral Rage gives you removal options, and it gives you a way to heal. So
yeah, and he just wants to deal with the ghoul this turn. Otherwise, you don't want to waste your living roots and hero power, because you can use that later on with Power of the Wild.
Talking about that, the Menagerie. If you have that Stranglethorn Tiger laying on the board and then you play the Menagerie, that is such a strong follow-up. We see the Tiger in the hand of made, but not the Menagerie. So you can also go for Druid of the Claw and copy that. But wow, look at this aggressive play.
Yeah, mate likes the smirk, and this is exactly what this deck needs to do. You could also go for the Tiger, actually, and just cash in on the 5 damage regardless next turn. But he goes for the immediately aggressive play.
And it forces out some removal here for Narra. Narra, the second ghoul and an execute.
And a Savage Combatant is going to make work of this ghoul. And meanwhile, Nara's hands has double shield bash, but he needs to pick up a shield blocker or something to make that hand look. Oh, and there we go.
Wow, yeah, you asked for it and he got it. So yeah, that's his way to stay in the game. Let's see what he draws, and is that going to help him? Well, it's another execute, so he gets his removal options. He has that brawl, still the Gorahal and the Gromage. So if he can win time, he can win this game, because eventually, well, not at this pace, but eventually the Beast Druid will run out of steam.
Indeed. At some point they will. And now Nara's just praying, like, please don't let the Tiger live, don't let the Tiger live.
Oh.
And he got lucky.
It's such a nice little guy. It's a 1/1.
But just you wait, it will get buffed. And now after mate's seen that brawl, can just spam the board again. It's his only option as well, so...
Yeah, now he's hoping that there's not a second brawl in the hand of Narra, because we've seen in the first game that he runs two. Oh, he has his Sogot as well, so he can block off a lot of damage.
Pretty sure he's going to go for the Sogot here. It would surprise me if he goes for the Grom. See him hovering over it, but yeah, Sogot it is.
Yeah, it's gonna soak so much damage, and yeah, you have the Power of the Wild and that Savage Roar are also great. It's also a great combination if you try to look to end the game.
And he just uses his Savage Roar to get through that Sogot, because you're not going to get much more value from it, and you need to get through it eventually. And this bought Narra a reasonable turn to come back.
Is this a Gromage and a Slam? Like Gromage and the Drake and...
Well, you could Portal's Shield Bash as well. It gives you more armor. But this is safe as well.
Because I feel like if you don't get the right minion, then you might lose too much board control. And there's the Curator as well in this deck.
Exactly what May needed, some card draw. So he gets a Beast, a Drake, and a Murloc, but there's no Murloc. So,
well, no Hungry Crabs in the deck of Narra, so nothing to fear. There was this moment when the Murlocs were coming, I was like, yeah, Hungry Crab is going to have so much value, but it's not happening ever, I believe.
I think at the start of Hearthstone, Trump actually put Hungry Crab in his deck, and he won a tournament because of it. So, but that was the moment. That was the one time it shines. Not the best 4-drop here for Narra.
Nope.
Just a 1/1. Not exactly a card you want to spend this much.
But look, now it's lethal here because he has Gorehal. And And there's the Menagerie Warden. Yeah.
Yeah, he can innervate it and copy his raptor.
But the problem is that you are at 7 health, so you know if he has a Gorehowl, you're dead. So you need to armor up.
Well, I'm not sure he's going to. No, he's not going to.
He's just gonna
play
risk
around
it.
Yeah, you need to risk it at this point. But yeah, Narra takes a very much needed game, very much needed win actually. So if you can point that Gorehowl towards the face, that is.
Well, if you're playing on iPhone, sometimes you let go too early, but Narra is not. So yeah, it's 2-1, and Narra picks up his first game. So, all right.
Great. I actually saw, I was watching WESG today, and saw someone bash his own face, and it was not on an iPhone, it was live on a tournament, on a computer, so guess that can still happen.
Yeah, it definitely can. We're heading into the 4th game of this match, and that is going to be, Druid versus Mage.
And that's the freeze mage. So yeah, Narra is definitely bringing something. Well, we haven't seen in a while, the freeze mage.
Well, didn't we see it last week in the hands of Ratje? No, I think that we were expecting it to be Ratje's play, but he played a Tempo Mage, yes. So yeah, freeze mage, you just accumulate a lot of damage in your hand and then you burst down the face of your enemy.
That's the idea. Or you stall long enough until your opponent runs out of threats. That's also the game plan. But this version with double Forgotten Touch, I think, is a lot faster, and than the old school freeze mage, the old version we saw of it.
Yeah, you play Doomsayer here with the coins, so you will have board control next turn. And that will give you an option to play that Novice Engineer, draw another card, and then you set up for an easy turn 3 there with Arcane Intellect. So
that's a very early Doomsayer, by the way. Like to coin it out, I'm not sure about that, but sets up for your 1/1 though. But he isn't going to do that much.
So you can see what happens right now, because if he plays, let's say, the Raptor, you have the Forgotten Torch to burn, because you want to use that as well to get that 6 damage card into your deck. And wow, yeah, now we can nicely trade.
Yeah, and play that Raven.
It's a very strong new card, I feel.
Yeah, it's good, but it's not power. It's not crazy good or anything. It's just neutral good, you know.
yeah, but in Beast Druid, I think that next to Menagerie Warden, the Raven made Beast Druid more viable than it was before.
Yeah, definitely did good for the Beast Druids. And we can also see that Narra opted to play his double 2-drops, even throwing away the Talos, just to get some cycle going, because his hand was pretty slow, and also forces the Druid to maybe remove a bit.
You can go for the draw and the ping, kind of get a little bit of damage in. Let's draw first with Loot Hoarder.
He's setting up for the Blizzard turn this way.
That's also true. But if you draw right now and then ping the face, isn't that a little bit obvious?
Yeah, you could just Arcane Intellect and ping, or do this.
That's all fine. It's fine.
Yeah. But you don't have to necessarily Blizzard next turn. You can just and yeah, Mate's going to opt to play the Savage Combatant over the Menagerie Warden, just because he wants to deal with that Acolyte.
But it's also, if now the Blizzard is being played, then you can still use that Inspire mechanic to do a lot of damage to the face of Narra, which is just the hero power.
Yeah, indeed.
And that swipe gives you a little bit of burst. We haven't seen any secret here for Narra yet.
No, it was 2 Ice Variants in hand, so he might want to try to develop one of these sometime soon. Well, you need to find the right time for it. Just use Fireball to stall. So Nara's looking for a turn where he can play his secrets a bit, and mCon.maDe is just like putting on the pressure.
Yeah, that was a great pickup, the Menagerie Warden. You know you have the second one. You can just play the other one, the first one you had, and there's the Blizzard finally. But is it enough here for Narra to stay in the game?
Also, Icelands is the Menagerie Warden. Stranglethorn.
Stranglethorn sets up for a very good turn next turn, but you can also indeed play this way, and then next turn set up for lethal with Menagerie Warden.
Oh yes, indeed. Oh yeah, this is actually smarter because if even if if Narra freezes, then you can Menagerie Warden and then just charge. Oh, I'm actually not sure if it copies the freeze as well. I'm not sure about that mechanic.
Ooh, and there is Rag. Well, that's lethal, right? If you just kill Luthor and the Rag. If it's Ice Block, it gets popped. With Ice Barriers. So that's going to be 3-1 for mCon.maDe. And he is going to win the first match of tonight. And, well, very well played here by him.